Hello, everyone. Welcome. I did not mean to put my microphone all the way over there. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Katawa Shoujo, and let us continue. So, now, I'm not going to load from any of these save files. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new game, and every choice I'm going to make is going to lead me to either Hanako or Lilly's route. Now, I'm going to intend to do Hanako's route first, because where is it? There it is. I'm going to intend to do Hanako's route first, because as you can see up here, there's Act 1, Emi, Hanako, Lilly, Rin, Shizune. And I already got everything from Emi, Rin, and Shizune's routes, so I'm either going to do Hanako or Lilly. And I want to do Hanako first, because I feel that Lilly would be a better end to the Let's Play. So yeah. Also, there's this scene behind things you can do and before exercise, which I do want to get. And, yeah. So, anyway, I'm not sure how to get this scene in the middle here, but I will be trying to get it before the final route if I do not get it in the new save game. So, yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do. So, anyways, well, let's see. Return? Okay. Start a new game. I was gonna skip all this. Yeah, the heart attack, yada yada yada. So yeah. Okay, looking at the flow chart, I'm just going to do all of the options that... I'm gonna do all of the options that add, Lilly and, Hanako points while ignoring the Shizune points. So, basically, the first part is rather than introducing self, saying why, and this is the one question I did not save, so that's why I started from the beginning. So, why? Why do I have to? Of course not, that's why I asked. Right. Let's go then. Alright, let's go to skip mode. After the applause, there is a brief silence that nobody seems to want to be responsible for breaking. The teacher soon realizes that he should probably say something. He opens up with some unintelligible noise, shuts up as he loses his momentum, and then starts introducing me. Nobody seems to be too interested. Maybe I should have said yes to the self-introduction thing. Probably realizing he doesn't know anything about me, he just ends up saying my name wrong again and asks me to write it on the blackboard. Nope, I do that and turn back to face the class, feeling awkward. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round, with her one hand against her other wrist that ends up in a bandaged stump. It makes me feel a little bad. Alright. Skip mode. Misha looks at me with a weird expression, then continues. We don't know much about him, but maybe we'll find out later. Maybe I should have introduced myself after all. Anything would have been a better first impression than the teacher's drone and fumbling with my name. We know there's going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today. So soon, Hee-chan, right? Hee-chan. Okay, so ask about the library. Yeah, this is gonna take a bit, so. Okay, so. We defend to make sure we don't get Shizune's points, so. Do-do-do. Then, apologize. I didn't mean to startle you. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. There you go. And then after apologizing, she was cute. There you go. Let's skip that. Okay, what to do? Okay, so. Alright, so basically, okay, so I'm going to save here. And now, that might sound weird, but I have a feeling that... Hold on, extras... Let's see, library. I have a feeling that, wait, hold on. Sit part 1, detour... Wait. Oh, wait, it's after Waylay. Then what is this scene? Okay, that's strange. Okay, well, here's the thing. I see this, like, massive flowchart. Well, it's not exactly massive, but, like, it's a pretty big flowchart right before Waylay. I don't know. I'll just continue. There you go. Let's go talk with Hanako. Yep. Skip mode. Do-do-do. Hi, Emmy. Hello. Hello. Okay, so I have no idea what that thing hidden there is. Okay, so. Okay, so. Could you promise me? Maybe. I'm just gonna do skip mode. Okay, so. So I have to get to the argument, which is gonna be in a while, so. Yes, Kenji. Yes, Kenji, you're naked. Why are you naked in front of me? Okay, so. The argument is here. So. Cut us some slack. And skip mode. I turn my back at them. Lilly, class is going to be starting soon, so we can talk more later. I'll tell Hanako you were looking for her. I can feel Shizune freezing. Maybe this is the first time she's ever been ignored in such a blunt manner. Hold on. Thank you, Hizao. I'll leave now then. She gives me the sweetest smile I've seen all week, and turns on her heels to make her exit. As soon as Lilly walks out the door, I suddenly start feeling reluctant about turning to face Shizune. I can feel her eyes burning into my back, and I can't bring myself to look at her. She must be furious. I keep expecting Misha to say something to alleviate the tension, but it really is wanting too much. In the end, I go back to my seat and listen to the sound of Shizune's footsteps as she marches out of the room. She doesn't return until a few minutes before class. Huh. Okay. You need to find her? She was looking for you in the morning, but I guess you have missed each other. She waits a little without answering the simple question, looking awfully like she's not sure if it's proper to answer such a question. Yeah? Can I come with you? If it's okay. Hanako nods, fractionally, still on guard, her shoulders stiff like wood. I get the feeling that she might be more comfortable by herself after all, but it's too late to back off now. She has this really troubled expression. She seems to wear it almost constantly, one that makes me constantly be on guard myself. I wonder why. I kind of understand why she always seems to be so wary, or maybe more like why there could be a person like her. But I still have no idea how I should act around such a person. It's dinner time soon. Are you planning to eat with Lilly? She nods slightly. So she must have been trying to get in the cafeteria. Well, There's something of a dinner crowd, just like the cafeteria is crowded during lunch. It's not as bad because dinner time is longer than lunch hour, but I can understand why Hanako could be discouraged from going in. I pack up my bag and we take our leave. Hanako skips a little to meet my initial pace, so I slow down to match her speed. It doesn't take long for us to be walking at a comfortable pace down the hallway. It almost feels like we're going for a stroll together, something that I can't say I've really done before with a girl. Hanako doesn't seem to be thinking the same thing though, even though we are walking at the same pace. She never comes within arm's reach of me. I guess she's still a little uncomfortable around me. Given how shy she is, there doesn't seem to be much helping it, at least for now. By the time we arrive at the cafeteria, there's not much of a crowd there, but Lilly is nowhere to be seen. Hanako's head sinks even lower than usual. Have you looked somewhere else already? Just at the library, I was reading. So she does spend the class she skips at the library. So not exactly a thorough search then. If I had to guess, she'd be in her own class like Shizune said, right? Right? With the slightest of nods, Hanako agrees with my reasoning. God, she's being so awkward. Nah, I'm joking. I mean, Hanako's an okay girl, I guess. Alright, let me just look at this. It's like I need double-layered silk gloves with padding to even begin interacting with her. You don't need that. Some small talk might help her become a bit more used to me. It isn't hard to tell that the silence between us is hovering on the edge of both of our minds. So you and Lilly usually hang out together after class, right? Yes? I'm not quite sure what I expected from her answer, nor why I even asked the question, but that much was rather obvious after all. She doesn't seem like the type to cultivate a social circle. Either, so I suspect that Lilly may well be her only friend. It must be a pain being in different classes, I'm guessing. She gives a sharp, almost reflexive nod. Blah. Blah. Damn it. Hold on. Is it fixed? Okay. She gives a sharp, almost reflexive nod. Compared to Lily's careful thought about her actions and speech, Hanako hastens to make her answers as prompt and short as possible. Lilly comes by the classroom, though, even when she's busy. She gives a small smile as she says it, evidently appreciating the fact that Lilly goes out of her way to help her. It's pretty cute, really. There isn't any need to say more. Both of us content that the discussions reached an end. As we ascend the stairs back to the lobby where we are met by a group of students heading downstairs like a school of fish moving from one feeding area to another. They seem to be keeping mostly to themselves, but before I can notice her doing so, Hanako has moved around behind me. Hey, are you alright? Just keep going. The students pass us without as much as a second glance, and Hanako takes up position to my side again as we enter the building, her momentary reprieve from her anxiety all but snatched away. Even as we climb towards the third floor, she doesn't seem to relax. It isn't as if I've never known a shy person before, or even shy girls, but Hanako seems to be pretty far beyond what I'd call normal and fear of other people. If it weren't for Lilly acting as a mediator, I doubt Hanako would have even been able to walk beside me like this. She starts to completely shut down in the presence of others. The rest of the walk up to Lily's classroom continues in strained silence, while I rue her inability to socialize at all. After we make our way up the stairs, the noise coming from Lily's classroom is audible from halfway down the hallway. I wasn't expecting such a din at all. Well, I guess we found her. This wasn't hard. Did Hanako come here first, then come to me for backup, I wonder? Well, if that's true, then at least she's starting to trust me a little. That can only be a good thing. Eventually, the two of us reach the door to Class 3-2. With Hanako less than subtly positioning herself behind me, I open the door. Inside is a hive of activity, seemingly every student in the class talking at once as they work hurriedly on their separate tasks. Going by the paint cans, decorations, and banners being made, it must be for the upcoming school festival. I guess my first priority should be finding Lilly. There. Finding her among the din is surprisingly easy, not the least because of her looks. With a couple of students gathered around her, as she stands in front of the class, she seems to be in charge of the preparations, or at least busy organizing them. Carefully negotiating a path through the various students hunched over the floor for lack of desk space, I raise a hand entirely out of habit as we finally reach Lilly. Hi, Lilly. She perks her head up as she breaks off talking to a noticeably smaller girl who must be her classmate, trying to listen as best she can. Sorry, who? Sorry, Hizao. I have Hanako too. Hi. She's pretty skittish. Considering the number of people around, it isn't too hard to work out why. Lilly takes a moment's pause to assess the situation before turning to the other student once again. For the moment, I'd just ask Moria for his assistance. Kenji's busy with painting one of the banners already. A quick nod, and she bounces off, fingers carefully sliding along the wall's face for orientation. Wait, Kenji? That Kenji? I quickly turn about, leaning to the side and to see past Hanako. Sure enough, in the corner of the room, Kenji's hunched over a sheet of cloth as he paints it. His eyes remain only inches from the brush, reminding me of how close he had to be to make out my face when I met him. Sorry about that. Our class doesn't have many students with even partial eyesight, so they're in high demand. That's right, Class 3-2 was specially for students with poor vision. Preparing for the festival must be pretty arduous for them. Need a hand? I could give you help if you need some. Maybe Hanako could too. A chance to set her mind on something would do her good, but I doubt she has the courage to ask outright. She quickly nods in affirmation afterwards, so I'm confident I made the right move. Lilly gives a noticeable sigh of relief. That's good. This might actually get finished before everyone goes off to dinner now. Would you be able to help the person painting the main banner? It's a big task for him to do, but nobody else can help. Kenji? Sure. She seems surprised that I know him. I can't really blame her. I take it you've met? Our rooms and the door are right next to each other. Hard to miss each other, really. Well, it's good to see that you're getting friends so fast. Friend? I wonder if that's the right word to use for him. Hanako's silence during the proceedings reminds me of the reason I put her up to helping in the first place. We'll go help him then. He knows what needs doing, right? That's right. Just ask if you have any problems. Chorusing in assent, Hanako and I begin another trek across the classroom. Kenji sits crouched on the floor, his gaze fixed on the white calico in front of him. Hey, Kenji. No answer. He continues dragging his paint-soaked brush along the large half-painted kanji that is stretched on the sheet in pencil. Kenji? Huh? What? Who is it? If this is the way he treats his class members, it's no small wonder he's working on this alone. Alright, it's me, Hizao, from the... Right, I know that, man. What are you doing here, though? His dismissive attitude annoys me. He must be the type to get really focused on his work, hating to be disturbed by anyone until he's done, I suppose. While we talk, the sound of Hanako's footsteps as she walks out from behind me reminds me that she's here. I was just going to help with the banner. Hanako and I, that is. Hello? Oh, hey, I guess that's okay. As soon as Hanako enters the equation, his demeanor takes a complete about-face. His sudden thaw hospitality is slightly unnerving. Oh right, women. On second thoughts, this might not have been a great idea after all. Hanako and I grudgingly set ourselves down on the opposite side of the cloth banner to Kenji, noting the several small paint tins on the ground around it. Class 3-2. Noodle stall? You guys selling noodles at the festival on Sunday? Yeah, some stalls outside or something. Or something. His non-committal nature sparks a fair amount of suspicion on my behalf. The task at hand comes first, though. So, how do you want to split this? We do borders while you do the text, or do you want to switch and do the borders? Text is mine, you do borders. He has surprisingly strong feelings on the topic. As I reach over to grab a brush, I notice Hanako is already debating between colors to use. By the time I've put brush to cloth, she's already started on a delicate pattern. Looks like my idea of taking her mind off everyone around her worked. With a dark blue stroke, the three of us silently get to work. Not before Kenji takes advantage of Hanako's working to lean towards me and whisper conspiratorially, though. Okay, man. Why are you here? Hanako just wanted some help to find Lilly, that's all. He apparently disapproves of my motivations. I get it. Looks like I misjudged you. You're infiltrating them, aren't you? Going deep undercover. I should have guessed. Letting the truth slip by him would probably be better than outright lying or annoying him in any case. Is that why you're here? Obviously, it sucks, but there's no better way to get intel than going in yourself. We gotta stick together, man. This is a harsh school, a harsh world. Yes, very harsh. He misses my true meaning and leans back, satisfied I'm sympathetic to his cause. I better get down to work. Finished. Looks like I am too. Good job. The two of us connect up the lines of our patterns, mine being as close as a copy as I could imagine hers. Blah, 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 blah. With a grunt, I lever myself up from the floor and look around. Aside from Hanako and myself, there's only Kenji left, finishing off a sign, as well as Lilly and a couple of students talking among themselves in the classroom. Looking at my watch, it's no surprise it's getting late. Need a hand? I offer a hand to Hanako, which she uses to get herself up. As soon as she does, I can't help but glance at her wrist. If her scars extend even to there, just how much of her body was burned. I feel a pang of guilt about it, however, as she quickly covers her wrist with her other hand. Looks good, doesn't it? She looks surprised for a moment before noticing that I mean the banner. It does, I guess. Her smile shows that she feels a slight sense of pride in the result, just as I do. With the floor significantly neater for the decorations being placed on desks and shelves, it's much easier to get to Lilly as we cross the room. We finish the banner. I guess that's all that needs to be done? Lilly gives an appreciative nod. Thank you, Hazao, Hanako. If there's any way I can thank you, it's fine. Beat sitting in my room studying at any rate. I don't mind either. She nods, before suddenly remembering one last person. Oh, is Kenji still here? As I open my mouth, Kenji gives the answer from the other side of the room. Yeah, just finished. He carefully slides his sign onto an empty section of shelf to dry, before quickly walking past us and out the door. See ya, man. Bye. The remaining two students say their goodbyes to Lilly before taking their cue to leave as well, leaving only the three of us. Well, I guess that's everyone. I hope we don't have to do anything like that again. Working past school time? Indeed. The class's plans this year were ambitious, maybe too ambitious. The stalls look nice, though. She's right. It shows that a lot of work's gone into them. My. I'm sure a lot of us would be glad to hear that. At least now there's not much work to do until the festival itself. It's getting pretty late. Should we go? That's probably a good idea. Are you going back to the dorms as well, Hazao? Yeah, I guess I'll tag along. The nighttime lighting really makes the gardens look quite different. Compared to the usual look of lush greenery, things are much more calm. Being that it's so late, the lack of students around probably helps. The odd one or two can be scurrying to and from the dorms, trying to eck the most out of their approaching curfews, but no more. All that can be heard is our footsteps, in addition to Lily's cane regularly, gently tapping the ground in front of her. It's nice to finally be able to relax a bit after the mad rush during school. Even without noticing it, I let out a small yawn. Tired? Yeah, still getting used to the flow of things, I guess. The thing with Shizune kinda took me off guard, though. I grit my teeth a little at the candid mention of their rather public spat. That said, I do want to sort out what in the world was behind it. About that. I'm sorry about it being so public. Shizune and I go back some ways. Her voice seems slightly irritated as she remembers Shizune, obviously unwilling to discuss it any further. I glanced to Hanako for her views on this, but her expression is, unsurprisingly, evasive and difficult to read. Either way, I guess her apologizing for it is something, even if my curiosity goes unanswered. I'll be glad once the festival is over, in any case. The change of topics welcome, clearing the thickening air quickly. I can imagine. My old school's festivals were a lot more low-key than this. Yamaku stresses the idea of a school community, so the staff likes to make our festivals and other such special occasions. And yet the students are the ones who do the work. What an unfair world. Look, I doubt you want this, but if you wanted to end up like American students, you could just not have any school festivals at all. It's kind of the trade-off. Like if you want something, you have to work for it. Anyways. Hanako and Lilly both chuckle in agreement, savoring the fact that none of the staff are around to hear our grumbling. I suppose coming from a strict all-girls school helped me a bit with Yamaku. Compared to there, Yamaku is much more relaxed. That'd go away towards explaining her well-bred speech and behavior in any case. As we come up to the dormitories, it eventually comes time to leave for our respective rooms. See you, Lilly, Hanako. The two both give polite nods before setting off to the women's dorms, just next to the guys'. As is to be expected of such an arrangement, there's a staff member casually patrolling around outside to prevent any nighttime shenanigans. Walking past him, I quickly stretch my arms, rub my neck, both quite sore having worked on the floor for so long, before walking to my room. It feels good to actually have direction, though. After so long in the hospital, the everyday facts of studying, homework, and teachers seem almost a blessing. I guess if things continue like this, my time at Yamaku might turn out okay. I'm feeling tired, so I set my alarm clock to wake up as late as I can afford, while still making it to the first class. Okay. Alright, the nurse's voice is almost nagging in the back of my head about morning jogs. I make a resolution to make up for it by going for a walk after school tomorrow. Emmy won't care either way, I bet. Whoa. Oh, this is a different scene? Huh. Okay then. I wake up and take a shower. Back in my room, the first thing I see is a familiar row of medication bottles lined up on top of my dresser, and it makes me depressed as usual. It's annoying. I thought it was okay. I thought I had made my peace with this thing and gotten over it. But what I really did, I allowed myself to forget that I have a problem. Being here only reminds me of the reality, and trying to fight against it hurts. It just hurts. Reflecting on it is only going to do so much. I've done this before, for months. It seems like it's time to get over it. If I allow myself to forget that my time is definitely not going to be as long as those of others, I won't get anywhere. My life may be different from others, but it is a life in progress. That is how I'll rationalize it. I downed a handful of pills, trying to push the sudden dreary feeling out of my head. Then I prepared to head out to class as early as usual. As I step into the hallway, I noticed Kenji coming around the hallway corner, stealthily making his way over to his own room with a large bag. He sneaks past me soundlessly, like a ninja hiding in plain sight. I call out to him, "Hey." He jumps at the sound of my voice. "Oh, hey man, I didn't notice you there. I'm really tired." I think it's more like he didn't see me, but that's not the issue. "Where have you been this early? Shopping?" "Nah, I wasn't shopping. Sometimes I have to visit the math teacher. Yeah, I figured it would be a good idea to find out when the next exam is since he tells you in advance if you want." "So then what's in the bag?" "I thought I'd go shopping while I was outside." Okay, hold on. Alright. Yeah, midway into that, I realized, oh, wait a second. Well. I'm not in very good condition. Alright. There you go. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization. "Wait, so the time when Emmy and you collided in the hallway?" I grimace slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I'd intended. Lilly visibly shies away from continuing the topic. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I try to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realize the futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Do-do-do. But why would Lily leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. So, okay. Hold on, let me give me a moment to look at the Okay, so we are very nearing right. I think it's like a couple of scenes, and then we near the point where it does branch off. So why would Lily leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. Ah, that's right. I think Lily mentioned something about going into town today before Rin bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon make me yearn to get out of the school, or at least to do something other than sit here. Yeah, it's SIP Part 2. Giving in to one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or on any day other than this one. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenji. He doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person. Really, I guess I'll catch up with him later. Changing tacks, I briefly entertained the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. Okay. There's gotta be something to do that can kill time. Okay. Save in here. Alright. Actually, I'm gonna go to the main menu real quick. Alright. Let's look. Extras. Let's look at this. So, not gallery, library. Okay. Okay. Oh, it was paint by numbers. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Alright, so. Then what are these other scenes then? Alright, so. Anyways. So yeah, since I am doing SIP Part 2. Yeah, so. Yep. Yeah, before I start the last route, I want to make sure I get everything in Act 1 done. So, yep. So, since I'm going to go to Hanako's route, let's go to the library. The library seems as good a place as any to go. Hanako looked as if she was taken pretty off guard by Lilly leaving, so she might want someone to talk to. Slinging my bag over my shoulder, I make my way out of the classroom. I walk down the hallway to the library, past a multitude of closed doors. Though through each one is the sound of a furious rehearsal that can be heard. Rock music blares out of one door, almost as loud as a concert. I guess that's one of the advantages of a private school where there aren't really enough rooms to go around at a time like this. And when I think about it, the grounds and buildings of the school are kept in pretty good condition. That can't be too cheap. I've heard that this place has some pretty serious benefactors. The walls of the library only partially insulate the noise of the festival preparations, but they're the only sounds to be heard. Not a soul stirs here, with everyone apparently enjoying the weather outside or working on festival events. Yuko isn't here either. Maybe she doesn't work on Saturdays. I quietly walk through the library, now fairly familiar with its layout. I head to the back, where Hanako's private little corner is. I run my hand along the spines of the books on the way through, feeling the individual texture of each as I glance across the titles. I used to do this all the time at the library, at the hospital. Some things never change, I guess. Like the smell of a library. No matter how much care you take, the paper and books is always going to degrade with time. Probably, no matter which library you go into, anywhere in the world, it must have the same musty smell. I find something that looks right enough to read without any major thought involved, then look for Hanako in the reading area. Once again, she's sitting on a beanbag with her back to her bookshelf, reading the same book she had in the classroom. She's slowly making her way through the pages. Unlike last time I Unlike last time I saw her here, I quickly take a seat in a beanbag. The noise is enough to catch her attention, but not startle her. This delicate routine that must be followed each and every time I try to talk to her almost feels like a hunting game. Is that the same book as before? Yes, I'm almost finished. Cool. I wonder if I should. You mind if I borrow it when you're finished? My mouth is faster than my mind, it seems. Sure, you may not like it, but I'm sure it can't be that bad. After all, you stuck with it, haven't you? I guess. I settle into my beanbag and set about reading my own book that had been buried in my bag. It's a light novel about pirates. To be honest, I'm barely skimming over the words, having chosen the book merely because it belongs to a different genre than I usually read. Finding it hard to muster enough enthusiasm to finish the book, noting that I've inadvertently distracted Hanako quite a bit, I decided to try to make conversation. So, I see Lilly left without you? She nods before taking her eyes off her book. She must have been really into it after all. Lilly said she'd go and meet someone? Oh? Akira, her sister. Sister? I haven't heard her talk about family. She and Akira used to live together. I thought all the students lived in the dorms. We don't have to. But it's easier, right? I mean, there's food here, and you're close to the school. I don't think I've ever been to class on time so often in my life. Her badly hidden smile proves quite rewarding. In the back of my mind, I know I have homework to catch up on, but it's quite comfortable in here. No one can find me and force me into working for their pet project either. Though now I'm thinking about the festival, another question comes up. Hey Hanako, what are you doing for the festival? Oh boy. For a split second, I think that Hanako is about to throw her book in the air from shock. Sorry? I was just asking what you're doing for the festival tomorrow. Anything planned? I don't know. Hanako answers, in the way that people do when they don't want you to ask any more questions. I take it large crowds and loud music aren't really her thing. Oh, okay. Change the subject, change the subject. So, what's Lily's sister like? She's nice. She's pretty like Lily, but she dresses businesslike. Businesslike? She's always wearing a suit. Ah, I see, and that makes her less pretty somehow? Hanako gives an embarrassed shake of her head. No, just different. I'll admit it. This has got me intrigued. To hear Hanako talk about someone other than Lily is a first, and to be complimentary about it too. But as I try to picture this mystery sister, all I can think of is Lily in a suit. I can't imagine that not being attractive, not at all. Well, one day you'll have to introduce me to her. Okay. Our brief conversation ends as abruptly as it started, and we both return to our novels. The passage of time is marked only by the gradual movement of the patch of light cast through the window. Slowly, the noises from the various rehearsals in the building fade out and die as students start to get hungry and tired. Just thinking about it makes my stomach start to turn knots around itself. I think it's time to head back. Do you really do you think Lily would be back by now? I think I might head back to my dorm. I'm pretty tired from this week. And not a word of that is a lie. Moving to a new school as it ramps up for a major event has been taxing to say the least. I can feel myself nodding off as I read my book. Okay, I might stay here a little longer. Looking at Hanako's book, I can see that she's only a few pages away from completing it. For a moment, I consider hanging around until she finishes, but once again, my stomach turns, emitting a gurgling sound. Sure thing. Well, I'm off. Well, I'm going to head off before it gets dark. I'll see you around, okay? Okay, see you, Hazao. Later. Hazao? Hmm? Thank you for hanging out with me. I can see how hard it was for her to get that simple sentence out of her mouth. It leaves me hanging for a second. So there is someone in this school who's even lonelier than me. Maybe lonely is a wrong word. I haven't been lacking company for this first week, but I've still managed to feel somewhat alone and detached. Maybe lonely is a wrong word for Hanako too. She has Lily after all, doesn't she? I realize I've been standing there for far too long, without answering, and pull off a flawless, not too exaggerated smile. You're welcome. Good night, Hanako. Good night. I leave her to finish her book and head back to the dorms and the promise of food. Yuppie. Maybe I should continue this episode until I reach the festival or something. Don't panic! Okay. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine, since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday, though, but the festival as well. From my window, I can already see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low-quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the rest of the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallway, intending to go out and find something to eat. Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji's up to today out of impulse. I'm curious if he has any plans, since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room. Or possibly something like a fort, complete with a no girls allowed sign. Hold on. I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first, and then check out the attractions. Your class project seemed pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it, so I want to see it at least I want to see at least that one and chat with Lilly, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligation for the project? Are you out of your mind? That billboard is up to no... I mean, that blind broad... Not billboard. That blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow that's in the way of my great vision. As expected of blind people. What? Sometimes I thought... besides, I thought you were also... He holds up his hand to interrupt me. Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see farther than any man before me has seen. Kenji looks stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just the corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same. Blah 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 blah. I can see the future of mankind, and it's a dark one, unless the threat of women is stifled. They are everywhere. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire, and then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm going to have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out of myself so I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass as they tentatively nibble away at the rather bland-tasting item. Yeah. You know, yeah, so I was supposed to record yesterday, but the reason I didn't record yesterday is because my mom dragged me to a rodeo. Not drag, but, you know, we went to a rodeo, and it took way longer than I expected, and by the time we got back, it was already 9 in the evening, so I couldn't really record anything yesterday, and we pretty much spent the entire day there. It was fun, but just, like, I don't regret going, and, you know, just to let you guys know. And yeah, we had a bunch, like, festival food. I have, like, currently in my mini fridge right next to me, I have a gator on a stick and some, like, cheesy bacon fries. I had a blooming onion earlier, but, like, all of us decided to, like, my entire family decided to... mine. Yeah. As unhealthy as it sounds, you know, festival food isn't very healthy, but, like, I rarely go to festivals, so might as well gorge a little. Although, yeah, I know it's not healthy. Why am I trying to explain this? I thought about getting a funnel cake, but we didn't have time for that before the rodeo really started, so, anyways. It was fun. Although, Jesus Christ, the rides were expensive, but it was fun. Anyways. I guess I shouldn't complain. It's better than doing nothing, and it's better than nothing and didn't cost much. As I look out towards the school, watching the people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing the time as they eat. Little children accompanied by parents or grandparents scamper about in the din from event to event, one hand dragging their company and the other bearing an oversized colorful snack. I can't help but notice the age range among the people here skewed towards the elderly, something I'd also noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those that lived here their whole lives and ardently refuse to leave, and those wanting to live out the rest of the days in one of those increasingly tranquil places. I guess that also goes away to explaining how conservative Yamaku's school culture seems to be. Not that I mind one bit. It's kind of like how calm Yamaku and its surroundings are. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting, now that the hottest part of the day is here. I better get going if I... Gah! The sound of the Carillion bells takes me completely by surprise as I stand up, a reaction shared by a few of the people strolling around as well. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bells end. Its age shows that the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement over it, officially opening the festival that is very much in full swing. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternatively pained and bored grimaces of their younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic, applause, and then get back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glance around for something to do. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all the people around. I decide to fall back on a tried and trusted rule. Not tired. Go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that's the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate into a trash can, I make my way towards the school building. Seeing quite the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. In deciding which to visit first, I catch sight of a familiar banner with a blue patterned border and red text. Lilly's stall is as good as a place to start as any. I'm curious as to how it's going after all. Of the work she and her class have been doing for it. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Easily as twice as wide as any of the other stalls and with the equipment for cooking strewn everywhere, it's closer to an outdoor restaurant and a festival event. As a student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere as pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who's probably the teacher of 3-2. It doesn't take long to notice Lilly among them, talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears there's been some sort of problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lilly pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter, and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that, we're having a few problems. What would you like? It takes me a second to remember what I'd come for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess some miso soup? Is that a Zhao? Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it, as she drops her waitress facade. Somewhere along the line, our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portions cover the problem? It seems that it's all I have to do, although I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. I glance behind her and see how many people are actually operating the stall. It couldn't be over about 8. I take it that's why your teacher left? That's right, she's going to try and round up a few more of our classmates to help. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glance backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in the line. I guess I better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup? Oh, right, coming right up. Lilly turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup as I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually, satisfied that I've handed over the correct change, she puts it into a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks, I'll come back to drop off the bowl. Thank you, Izao. Oh, there's one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay. I was just wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done, then. Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako too. Thank you, Hazao. I walk off from the stall and find a seat, carefully crating the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be, perhaps, but the flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being involved in the festival as the others. It can't really be helped, considering I was dropped into the school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. That, and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. Now there's over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they work, Lilly still appears to be somewhat stressed. Lilly doesn't look impressed at all. I can't really blame her. On top of her issues with her stall, she still seems to be worried about Hanako. I can't really help her with the former, so I guess the only way I can help is by trying to take her mind off our shy mutual friend. Placing the bowl back in the counter, I call out to Lilly. Hey Lilly, don't worry about Hanako. I'll find her and hang out with her, okay? I can see Lily's relief plainly written across her face. Thanks, Hazao. And if you see anyone from my class, can you tell them to come back here, please? Will do. Have a good one. And make sure you take a break, okay? I will if I can. See you later, Hazao. I leave Lilly in the stall and head out in search of Hanako. In a way, I feel bad for leaving her with the crowds, but even though she was clearly under pressure, I can't help but think that she is enjoying herself. The halls are packed with swaying crowds meandering throughout the festival. If there's one thing I know about Hanako, is that she's not going to be anywhere near this. And with the students showing their friends and family their dorms, I doubt she'll be there either. Following blind intuition, I move against the grain of the crowd. Thankfully, this crowd seems to be slightly less festive than the usual festival crowd. I assume this is out of consideration for the student body. As I force my way through the masses, it doesn't take long for them to thin down into nothingness. It's not surprising, since I'm standing before the library. Even the most eager of students don't bother to show anyone this section of the school. As I enter the library, the noise of this festival fades into a dull background noise, and soon I am in the reading area at the rear of the dorm. Behind one of the partitioned desks, I can see the top of a head with straight dark hair catching my eye. Hey Hanako, I had a feeling you'd be here. The head jumps, a little in shock before slowly peeping over the partition. Hazao? Hey, Lily's pretty busy, so she sent me to find you. Oh, do you want to sit down? Actually, I'm feeling a little hungry. Would you like to get something to eat from one of the stands? I brought some food, so... I shouldn't be surprised, but it was worth a try. Expecting her to go outside today was a long shot. How about we eat in the tea room? I passed by it on the way here, and no one was around. We can make some food there, and it'll be a little more comfortable. What do you say? Sure, let's go. Hanako closes her book and puts it away with deliberate, practiced movements. Good to go? Yeah. We walk side by side from the library to the tea room. As expected, there's barely a soul around. If it weren't for the murmurs through the walls, you wouldn't tell there was a huge festival going on outside. Hanako carries her bag in both hands and focuses on just the floor ahead of her. Every now and again, she seems to break her pace a little and steps in slightly shorter paces. The first time it happened, I gave it no mind, but I soon noticed that she does it on a regular basis. Are you all right? She stops dead in her tracks. What? I don't know, it looked like you were tripping or something. A pink blush rises into her cheeks as her gaze returns to the floor. It's nothing. You know, when you say nothing like that, people are inspired to ask further questions. For a second, I don't think she is going to answer. Prepared to leave it prepared to leave it be, I almost set off walking again when... It's a game? A game? Do you see the floor here? What a bizarre question. The floor looks like any other floor, covered in those tiles made up from squares of linoleum. Nothing noteworthy. Well, yes, what about it? Sometimes, when there's no one around, I only step on the darker ones. Hanako's voice trails off as her explanation continues, until I can barely hear her voice over the roaring silence of the empty hall. Yeah, I mean, I used to do that, like, a lot when I was a kid, too. Like, oh, there's, like, some noticeably darker or noticeably lighter squares on the floor. Let me just only walk on those. Yeah, that could be fun. That could be fun. Yeah. Darker ones. Shuffling her feet, Hanako points the toe of her shoe at a tile that is barely a shade darker than the others. Like these ones. Alright. So these ones are no good? I point out to a nearby tile. Yeah, something like that. Oh, I see. Do you play this game a lot? Hanako shakes her head. Just when the halls are empty? She nods. Well then, no point in stopping. I'm beginning to get really hungry. She nods again, this time with a little more enthusiasm. Well then, let's go. We set off down the hall, and this time I notice that Hanako is paying a little less attention to the floor. I wonder, just how lonely does someone have to be to come up with a game like that? Okay, first off. There are several games, right, and several, what was it? So, like, what was it? Step on a crack, you break your mama's back. Like, I grew up with that one. And so, like, all of us kids, we would, like, intentionally try not to step on any of the cracks on the floor because we don't want to break our mama's backs. So, just because someone, like, does a, like, weird game like that doesn't mean they're lonely. No, I get it. I guess Hanako is lonely, but, like, I don't know. That is a wild assumption to make. Like, I used to do like this with, like, my childhood friends and my cousins and siblings all the time. Right? There's, like, hopscotch. There's like a bunch of other stuff. So, like, that... whatever. Before I realize what I'm doing, I find myself trying to aim each step so it lands on the correct tiles. The noise of the festival is slightly louder inside the tea room, but the breeze coming through the open window makes it worth it. Without thinking, I walk to the windowsill and inhale deeply. Sometimes I forget how clean the air here is compared to back home. Would you like some tea? That'd be great, thanks. It occurs to me that this is the first time I've been alone with Hanako without her trying to be somewhere else. Turning from the window, I watch as she makes a simple pot of tea and arranges some sandwiches onto a plate. I've seen her do this before and a number of times, but this time she seems slightly different. It's like she's calm. Eventually, she places the small tray on the table and pours 2 cups of tea. The fresh scent of brewed tea mingles with the breeze, and for a second I feel like I'm the only one in the world. I think I know why you like this room now. I don't know what you mean. Well, there are quite a few people out there, but in here it's like another world. You could pretend that there's no one around for miles. You're right. It's like the world has forgotten about this room. And because of that, you can forget about the outside. That would be appealing in some cases. As far as I can tell, conventional bullying doesn't exist in this school. But then again, I haven't seen a single person talk to Hanako besides Lilly. If you're ignored by the world, a place where you can forget its existence would hold a special appeal. That's a good point. It's like this room gives you some kind of complete freedom. Yeah? Say, do you play chess? Chess? I've played it a bit, I guess. I take it you've played before. A little. Without saying anything more, Hanako moves to one of the cupboards and digs out a small chess set. Do you want? Sure, why not? I cut her off, but she doesn't seem to mind it. We arrange the pieces, and long before we are sending pawns charging to their inevitable fates, I take my time and intently examine each move and its consequences, nostalgia for the game taking second place in the matters at hand. For a time, the game is a lengthy battle of attrition, but I spot an opening and tear a line in her defense. A few moves later, her king is cornered by several of my pieces. Checkmate. You're not bad at this, are you? An honest appraisal, her technique is pretty good, but several times I was able to exploit her lack of prediction. I pick up a piece and examine it. It looks relatively new, yet worn for its age. I guess not. Does Lilly play? The absence of Hanako's answer causes me to think about my question. A bit. This is the first time I've played against someone, or... well, other than her, or... She cuts herself off abruptly, leaving the answer hanging in the air. Someone she knew before coming to Yamaku, maybe? Well then, I'm honored to have played against you. Can we play again? She asks as if she were asking me to cut off my own hands. The spirit of competition's gotten into her? Sure. Though, don't expect me to go easy on you this time. Not that I was before, mind. She seems to appreciate the competitive tone. Same here. As we are setting up the pieces, there is a noise at the door. Good afternoon. Lilly! Oh, hey there, Lilly. Are you finished? You both are here? Wonderful. At any rate, our teacher managed to round up some extra help, so I was able to leave. Have you been here since you left? Pretty much. We've just been playing a bit of chess. Would you like a cup of tea? Actually, it may be a good idea to go outside for a little while. The instant drop in Hanako's face shows her objection to this plan, even though she says nothing. I feel strangely compelled to voice what is plainly in view on her face, but Lilly can't see. I kinda think we should just stay here. Really? It's so crowded here that I was thinking we should leave the school and head for the local tea house. You mean the Shanghai? Of course. With everyone at the festival, it would be practically empty. Tea house? Oh, that's right. You probably don't know of it. There is a tea house not far from here, which we go to every so often. Sounds like a plan. Hanako, what do you think? Hanako jumps a little at being forced into the conversation, but at least she seems less distraught than before. If it's to Shanghai, I think it'll be nice. Well then, it's settled. Let's be on our way. Hanako and I rise from the table, and our preempted chess game. Before I can do anything, Hanako has poured the pieces into a small container and placed the board away. Looks like we're ready now. Please lead on. Hanako moves to Lilly's side, and we venture onto the school's corridors. The pair leads me through a series of unfamiliar doors, and we emerge on the side of the building opposite of the festival grounds. Insulated by the heavy stone of the building, the noise from the crowd has faded into a murmur. Strange. I thought that most people would be beginning to leave by now. They're probably here to view the fireworks. Fireworks? Yes, apparently the school puts on quite a show. A lot of people come from town just to watch them. Lily's decision to leave the school grounds seems to make sense now. Hanako would probably have a hard time with the whole town descending onto the school, or ascending, as the case may be. For the second time since arriving at Yamaku, I find myself walking down this road with Lilly. Only now that I can barely hear the incessant noise of the festival do I realize how loud it was. I can hear my ears ringing slightly in the still evening air as I recover from the day's assault on them. Hanako clings to Lilly, but still manages to guide her along the road, that and avoiding the occasional gaze from curious pedestrians seems to completely sap her constitution. She rarely raises her focus from the ground in front of her, nor does she utter a word. Lilly, on the other hand, maintains her prim and proper persona, just as she does in school. It's obvious she purposely puts an effort into her appearance, rather than hiding it as Hanako does. It's striking how different they are in their own way of holding themselves outside of Yamaku's grounds. That said, it's obvious in both of their cases that they do visibly change. Inside Yamaku, everyone is special, which negates the specialness of it. But once we venture outside the school gates, we are returned to the status of outsider and generic labels. Especially when we are still in school uniform, it's like hanging a sign around your neck, challenging people to figure out what is wrong with you. I'm surprised that so many of the students keep it on. Then again, with canes and wheelchairs common along the students, I guess it's not really much of a giveaway. Or maybe I'm the only one who sees this as a stigma. Maybe you get used to it after a time, like any other school uniform. The tea house seems fairly standard from outside, just an ordinary building with typical signs decorating the entrance. It looks like the type of place you'd walk by without a thought, just another generic cafe in a sea of thousands. If Hanako hadn't steered Lilly into the entrance, I would have continued on down the road without ever knowing that it existed. Inside the tea house, it takes a more traditional feel. Everything seems to have been made from the same lump of timber, from the counter and benches to the high-backed booths around the walls. But the most striking feature of the room is the lack of life. I think I can faintly hear something bubbling away in the background, but otherwise the room is silent. Without any direction, we simply wait near the entrance, politely obeying the "please wait to be seated" sign. Is this place closed or something? The sound of a chair falling over echoes throughout the empty room, and a head shoots up from inside the booth. I wasn't asleep, and welcome to the Shanghai. Yuko, dressed in a pastel apron and clutching a menu, rushes to greet us. Her misaligned glasses and ruffled hair cast suspicion on her previous statement. But whether she was asleep or not isn't the first question that leaps to my mind. You work here now? What happened to the library? What? Lilly, Hazao? Welcome to the Shanghai. Yuko, still waking up, jerks into a violent bow, dislodging her glasses in the process. Well, my glasses! As I pick up her spectacles off the floor, Lilly offers an explanation. Yuko works here part-time as well as the library. It's one of the reasons we like to come here. Yuko takes her glasses from my hands, shakily putting them back on. Yes, that's right, thanks. Shall I show you to your table? There's no one else here, so you can choose your table and order what you like, but there may be a delay, as I will have to make it myself. It's alright, Yuko. Just a pot of black tea and a plate of sandwiches will be fine. Right. I'll get right onto that. Yuko hurries off to the back of the cafe, leaving us still standing at the entrance. She pushes the swinging half doors open before realizing she hasn't seated us. I'm sorry. Please sit wherever you like. I'll be right back. Following her advice, I lead Lilly to the nearest booth as Hanako follows. As I begin to sit next to Lilly, I realize how appropriate this place is for Hanako. The high-backed booths totally separate you from the rest of the room, and it doesn't look like it gets all that many customers. All the furnishings, from the cushions on the benches to the condiment holders, look dated, but aren't overly worn. I wonder if Lilly deliberately selects places like this to take Hanako. She seems like the type that would go lengths to cater to Hanako's unique predicament. So Hazao, I didn't know you played chess. Well, not very well, but I do know how to play. I suppose the obvious questions would be, who won? Lily's innocent smile makes me hesitate. I don't really want to look like I'm lording my victory over Hanako. Hazao did. Yes, but not by much. Damn, saying that out loud makes me feel like I've done something terrible. Well done, Hazao. You've accomplished something I've only ever failed at. Uh, thanks. I haven't played in ages, so it felt good to play again. Yes, it did. Hanako fidgets with her hair a little and looks away as she replies, but a small smile emerges. It's a little more extreme of a reaction than I expected, but still kind of cute in that Hanako way. It throws me a little off guard, and only Yuko's cataclysmic re-entry shocks me back into my conversation. Are you alright there, Yuko? Do you need a hand? I'm fine. I have to do this properly, it's my job. Concentration plays across her face while she stares at the tray in her hands, as if simply looking at its contents will hold them in place. Sadly, this doesn't prove all that effective. The cups and saucers slowly dance around, occasionally clattering as they collide with one another. Taking great care, Yuko sets the tray down on the table with only the subtlest of crashes. There, see? Well done? Thank you, Yuko. Yuko's head rockets downwards, and her distinctive bow before answering. You're very welcome. Would you like to join us? There's something else I'd like to discuss about that recent order, if I may. Ah, that's right. Lilly and Yuko were discussing a pile of books when I first met Hanako. Something about Lilly helping with the Braille. Yes, we didn't get the chance to go through them, did we? Yuko hastily sits down next to Hanako. Apparently, her dedication to this job only goes far as her concentration. Once it is broken, she suddenly loses it. I'll be in the library tomorrow afternoon if you'd like to try again. That sounds perfect. I'll meet you there after classes. Lily? Oh dear, that's right. Tomorrow is Monday. How could I have forgotten? I'm starting to feel a little left out of the loop here. Then again, that's to be expected. I've been here barely a week, so it's impossible to know everyone's schedule. Well, perhaps we could come to some other arrangement. Yuko, will you be in the library later in the week? Maybe, but this is already overdue. There are some things I need. This might be a problem. Lily ponders for a second before discovering the answer. I wonder, might we be able to enlist the help of another if need be? To do what? You lost me quite some time ago. Being volunteered for something without even having the slightest idea of what's going on isn't really my thing. And here I thought I had finally escaped the clutches of the student council and their repeated attempts to recruit me. Oh, of course. The other day I was helping Yuko sort the new Braille books in the library. But Hanako and I usually go shopping on Monday afternoons. It's quieter on that day than on the weekends. Last week we couldn't go because I was busy with the festival. I managed to slip away later in the week. But Hanako couldn't make it. Well, since I can't read Braille, I'm assuming you'd like me to go shopping with Hanako? Correct. You were a great help to me the other day. I think I can handle that. Hanako, what do you think? If you wouldn't mind. Of course not. I'm still not familiar with all the stores in the area, so it sounds like a good idea. Okay. Now that we have that arranged, shall we have some tea? It's now that I realize our tea had been sitting idly all this time, getting no hotter. It's my fault. Let me pour that for you. Yuko reaches out with shaking hands, and I intercept her. She looks in no state to be handling hot liquids. It's all right. I've got it. Since you've already made the tea and sandwiches, you fulfilled your waitress duties, right? I guess. Yuko relaxes a little, but still watches eagerly as I share out the assortment. As I am about to bite into the sandwich, a low, loud rumble can be heard, along with a flash of light from outside. I take it the show has started? Only now, looking outside, I realize that dusk has come and gone, leaving us in the peak of twilight. Sparkling tracers arc upwards, ready to explode in the floral shapes of fireworks. Let's go watch! Sorry, Lily. Please, don't miss the show on my account. From what I've heard, this isn't a bad location to watch them from. With the exception of Lilly, we rush to the window of the small tea house to watch the show. The strobe of colored lights plays across Hanako and Yuko's smiling faces, and for a second, I forget to look out the window. In this totally new world, there are a few things that don't change. I think that's why the school makes such a fuss over this festival. It's a chance to show the similarities between everyone. The show is over all too quickly. Fireworks are expensive, even for the most well-funded schools. Before we return to our tea and sandwiches, Hanako turns to me. Thanks for today. And tomorrow. That's okay. I don't think I could have faced those crowds either. On days like this, it's more relaxing to spend some time away from everyone, don't you think? Yeah. Anyway, we've been delaying this tea for far too long now. Let's get back. Sure. We return to the booth and our light meal. That sounded impressive. Bigger than last year's, at least. Yeah, it was great. I've never seen them put on such a show. It gets better every year. I'm afraid, however, that during that time, the tea has gone cold. Oh no, let me make some more. This is my fault. Calm down, Yuko. It's nobody's fault. I take a sip from my cup just to prove the point. This tea isn't too bad cool anyway. It's like an iced tea. Really? Yes, really. If you add a bit of sugar, it's kind of nice. Are you sure? I'm positive. Now why don't you sit down and we'll finish this together. Okay. Yuko doesn't seem convinced, but sits down regardless. She carefully measures out the 5 teaspoons of sugar and adds them to her tea. I said a bit of sugar. I know, but I like my tea sweet anyway. Curiously, I peer into her cup. As expected, hardly any of the sugar dissolves in the cool liquid. She stirs it twice before upturning the cup and drinking the contents, sugar and all, in a single mouthful. You're right, it's not bad at all. Good? I look back to Lilly and Hanako, both of whom have finished their meal as I witness Yuko's personality in action. Not wanting to hold anyone up, I use her tactic and finish the remainder of my tea in a single swill. Well then, I guess it means we're all finished. Should we head back, or do we want seconds? Yuko's expression shows that this is quite clearly not a good idea. I think it would be best if we got back soon. We do have to get back before curfew after all. Oh, that's a good point. I'll meet you tomorrow, Yuko. I'll be looking forward to it, Lilly. Goodbye, everyone. We make our way out to the small tea house and into the dark of the night. Lilly and Hanako once again take point, but under the cover of darkness, Hanako seems slightly less stressed than she did on the trip here. We move against the occasional group of people, emptying the school grounds, but Hanako seems to lead us along a few minor roads, avoiding the bulk of the crowd. Outside the dorms, the school seems strangely quiet when compared to the noise of the day. Well then, thank you both for today. I think I've learned a lot. You're most welcome, but I'm afraid that I really must be going. Today's been a long day. That's right. Lilly spent all of today on her feet, and I can imagine that walking outside of the school would be pretty tiring for her. I felt a pang of guilt as I remember that I was probably the only one in the school that got up around 10 this morning. Yeah, sure thing. Well, I'll see you both tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Hizao. Night. The girls return to their dorm, and I to mine. Actually, now that I consider it, today tired me out as well. Act 2, Hide and Seek. Okay then. Movement. Finish Hanako's Act 1. So, wait, return. Save here. Yep. So, okay, well, I'm not going to record anything else today. But there's Hanako. There she is. There you go. Alright, so. I'm actually going to look at this real quick. Like, so as you can see, there's the Hanako animatic. And it was the library, right? Okay, so I'm gonna look at this and see how much. So, okay, that's okay. So literally, okay. So it looks like that Lilly's route is going to help me a lot. So like because, well, 71% completion. That's pretty good. So Lilly's route is the last one, the last choice you need to make for Act 1. It appears. So yeah. And still have 2. And yeah. Alright, well. It's been doing the artist. Have a nice day. Tomorrow I am going to actually, you know, begin Hanako's route. And we'll see what happens from there. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching.